Pagan Fate of Roanoke. This is your review for 2. Good day, my name is Joe. Today we'll be going over Pagan Fate of Roanoke and how it plays with 2-player. Now, Pagan Fate of Roanoke is a 2-player asymmetrical game where one player is going to be the witch, trying to have one of these villagers, one of these 9 villagers out here, put a ritual and renaturize the entire environment, where the witch hunter is going to be hunting down the witch and keeping the status quo and kind of making sure that the witch's plans aren't carried out. Now let's see a little bit more how to play. So in Pagan, it's a lot of management. There's a little bit of resource management. There's some card management. There's going to be even some hand management because it really is a card-based game. However, it is worker placement as well. On your turn, you do this upkeep phase where you see if there's anything that happens at the beginning of the turn. You get to take back your 3 workers, and this is on both sides. And you get to place these out there. Now, what's interesting about this game is the other player is not, these happen back and forth, so the other player's workers are going to stay out there while you do your 3 actions in a row, and then the other player is going to take up their pawns and do the exact same. So you're going to block their spaces. So it really is kind of a little bit of worker placement blocking, if you will. But on your turn, you're going to have, a set of cards in your hand. And as you do some of these different actions, you're going to get different cards. You're going to gain influence. You're going to place, as the witch hunter, you're going to place these clues on the map. And hopefully these clues on these different villagers are going to get you evidence. You can use evidence to exonerate some of the villagers and do certain things around the map. Whereas the witch, you're going to have the exact same thing, except one of your workers is going to be a familiar. So you'll be able to do familiar actions. It really is just a back and forth on the play as far as the action selection goes. The witch hunter is going to have locations that they can do kind of extra action spaces to go to. They're going to have allies to help them out, maybe gives them some sort of residual benefit. And they're going to have these investigation cards, which are on the map permanently, which the witch is going to have to just work around because the witch is trying to put out these secrets to gain favor for these villagers. And when they gain 3 favor, they can perform the ritual, and that's how they win. But you can do that by putting these enchantments out as the witch. You can increase your familiar's power. You can brew different potions that you can use on your turn. There's just so much to this game, but no, it's just a kind of a resource management out here, a hand management game. You have your influence that you're going to pay with all your cards with, and pay to do certain actions, and all while trying to make sure that the witch hunter finds the witch and eliminates that villager, or exonerates all 8 other villagers while the witch is trying to gain 3 favor on some of these cards by using some of these secrets. So I really don't want to go into all the actions. Just know it's a back and forth asymmetrical witch versus the witch hunter. And let's see a little bit more what I thought about the game. So the rules and references for this game, the rules, I did actually have to read twice, but the rule book's not that long. I just wanted to make sure that I knew all of the actions I had to do. And it does come with a really good reference sheet. We do have the play mat, but all of these are on the reference sheet as well, with every single one of the actions. And when you do a villager action, there are certain steps you need to go in when you put your pawn on the villager. You need to put some carry out maybe a card effect, gain some evidence, do this, then do this. So there's like 4 steps when you put some of your action pawns down, but it goes through it very easily. The references, they give you some nice little reference cards. I kind of wish they gave you another player aid and another icon so both players could have them. But overall, rules and references, pretty straightforward. Components in this game, really nice, even with the base components that come with the cardboard. These are really nice, in the darkest dungeon kind of style of art, and it really looks neat what you get in this game. So setup and table size. Setup really won't take you very long at all. Lay out your villagers, shuffle your decks, get your resources together and ready to play. Maybe 5 minutes in total, where the table size on a 3x3 maybe is slightly larger than a 3x3. This would be the perfect size for this game. So let's go into the gameplay. So my explanation of the game was not very good because it's asymmetrical. It's very hard to go through how a turn actually works. But the gameplay is upkeep. See what you have out there. See what you can get on the turn. Or do you need to pay some of your allies as the witch hunter? Is there any upkeep you need to do? And then it really comes down to the worker placement. You can't do anything in this game without putting a worker down, without putting one of your witch hunters down as the witch hunter. And when you do, you're going to be able to carry out certain cards, different actions, putting clues on stuff, and then getting to do the action. So it just kind of feels interesting where you don't get to draw a card at the beginning of the turn. You don't get to do this. You don't get to do anything until you put that action down. And that's where some of these cards come into play. Some of these locations are going to let you do that without having, your space may be blocked. Some of these allies may let you draw a card at the beginning of a turn or give you influence at the beginning of the turn, because you also don't get that every round. It's not guaranteed. So just to do that is really neat on this game, where you can't do anything unless you physically go to it or you've put a card out that really helps you out. And I like that about this game, because it really is, gaining influence, drawing cards, playing cards. Those are your main resources, with the influence and just having the cards, and then getting, your pieces out there and really building up the board. That's what's really interesting about this game for both sides, is the building up of the board. The witch hunter builds locations and allies and investigations to make actions more powerful, where the witch wants to make the whole board state more powerful with these enchantments, or have brews that they can do instantly on their turn, but it may take them a little while to brew it, or the familiar action where they can do once per round to kind of boost an action. The building up to the board state is really neat in this game. I don't know if I would call this game a deduction game per se. It kind of has the Star Wars Rebellion mechanic, where there's going to be 9 villager cards out here. The witch gets to choose one at the beginning of the game. That is the witch for the turn. So you're going to have these other 8 cards as the witch hunter that you can progressively try to turn over and kind of start eliminating people, because you don't want to eliminate the wrong villager too many times, because once you've eliminated the 3rd villager and you're wrong, the game's over and the witch wins. But as that witch, you're really trying to trick the witch hunter, and I'm putting resources on some of these villagers, but really the witch I know is over here. So it gives you that kind of trying to be sneaky without trying to be sneaky. And at the very end of the game, you really want to box the witch hunter out, and so they don't have any last minute efforts to stop that ritual from going off. So it's a really head-to-head game. You come with a set of 50 cards, kind of a pre-made. They give you enough for 2 full decks in here. In the future, they said they're going to add more cards. But we went through about 20-ish cards a game when you start off with 50 of them. So you're not going to see all of these cards, but it is just nice to have that opportunity to build kind of more of a deck. Kind of wish they went with a 30-card deck, so you can kind of slim it down a little bit. 50 seems like a lot to me, but there's so much to this game. The cards really enhance the game as you build up your board state. These tokens you're going to put on the cards kind of give your opponent some view of what you're doing. Blocking spaces on the worker placement. The little bit of deduction that there is, you're slimming it down into where they could be. It's just really neat gameplay in this game. So how does this game play for 2? Well, it's just a 2-player game, so obviously I'm going to say it plays really well at 2 players. But it really is a back and forth. It kind of gives me, War of the Ring, Star Wars Rebellion vibes, with the asymmetry of the game just being there. One player is going to be, feel like they're on the higher ground, punching down the other ones, but the other one trying to be kind of sneaky. There's 3 different ways to play. There's 2 scenarios in the box. Plus, you can just play the base game as is. They give you a decent amount with this game, but it's a 2-player asymmetrical game. I love those. I love the cat and mouse type. I'm putting my stuff here. I turned it into a favor. I turn those secrets into a favor, or the other person's using they're beefing up their clues to get these evidence. I like the theme of the game. I think everything's just, you get into the role playing a little bit as the witch hunter. You're really trying to narrow it down, and as the witch, you're trying to be sneaky to build up for that ritual of naturification. I think they call it in the book or something like that. I like the building up a board state. There's so many different elements on different board games in this game. It really just makes it neat. Like I said, worker placement, building up your board state, deduction, kind of has a little bit of everything in there. And I really like it. Maybe took us about an hour and a half once we got, the game flowing pretty well. It is one person takes their whole turn, then the other person takes their whole turn with the reactions, and you just go back and forth. But I never felt like I was waiting for the other person, because I always wanted to know where they were going to go, because where they're going to go is going to block my turn for my actions on my turn. So I really liked that on this game. The villagers were neat. The artwork is neat. This is a really neat game. This isn't going to be a game for everybody though, because you are going to have that dedicated kind of 2-person to play a couple times to really get the feel of it. And the rules really aren't that hard. But to remember what all the icons do and remember what this and that and what each other player can do may take you a little bit to get into, but by your second game, you're just cranking them out. And I don't know, for an asymmetrical deduction type game, this is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed our time with this game. We'll continue to play it. It'll be on our table for the next, week or so out here, and we'll get a lot of games in. So resource management, hand management, worker placement, and deduction, all into an asymmetrical 2-player game. This game kind of has it all. So really enjoy this game for 2, and hope you guys enjoyed the review. Until next time.